mia cucina in Italian means my kitchen. And la prima cosa, the first thing che dobbiamo fare, that we need to do, is to prendere il fadale, is to put on the apron. And today I have chosen a beautiful apron full of butterflies and birds, and it's beautiful just like all of us are. And I'm bringing you this dish. There's a lot of controversy with this dish. It's interesting because this dish is called Shakshuka, and it is Shakshuka means all mixed up. Yes, it means all mixed up. And what happened is I'm going to get into it, but let me give you the ingredients before I tell you how Shakshuka came about. But I want to share the ingredients with you, because Shakshuka in many different countries it's different. And yes, there's other countries that make Shakshuka, including not only North Africa and Israel, and also it somehow ended up in Italy, and it's a different Shakshuka, but it has to do with eggs and tomatoes. But what I am going to be utilizing is 1 red pepper that I have diced. I have 6 cloves of garlic that I also have diced. I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of harissa. I love harissa. If you don't love harissa, 1 tablespoon will do ya. I also have a can of organic fire roasted tomatoes, and I also have a half a cup of fresh diced tomatoes. I like it to use nice and fresh. Also, I have 1 entire onion that I have chopped. I have 4 cute little organic eggs that are waiting. I'm also going to be utilizing some parsley, some wonderful spices, and I'm also going to be utilizing cilantro. And then wait till I tell you how I'm going to be using this. And it's all going to have in this magical cast iron, it could be cast iron skillet. I am going to be utilizing a non-stick, and I'm going to start my power on medium high. And then I am going to go over my spices, but the first thing I want to do is add my 2 tablespoons, my entire 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And I really want my olive oil going in here so it doesn't damage my pan, because if you start this with no olive oil or liquid, your pan can go bad, and we don't want that. And then what I want to do here is I want to show you what I have in this beautiful, look at this, these are all my wonderful spices. And I'm going to tell you what I'm using: a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, a teaspoon of smoked paprika. I like smoked paprika. You could use regular paprika. A teaspoon of cumin, a tablespoon of cardamom. I love cardamom. You can use a teaspoon of cardamom, and also a teaspoon of coriander. And what I want to do is I want to get my wonderful spices right now. That's what I'm doing. You see what I'm doing? I'm not going to add the salt yet. I just want my spices, and then the rest of these guys I'll add it in there. What I want to do, guys, is when we put it in the oil, what we are doing is we are opening them up, and I am just putting it in where the oil is right now. Yes. Oh, this is looking really good. And you can smell it. I'm also going to bring some extra olive oil over here that I have. I'm probably going to add another teaspoon to it. So it's 2 tablespoons and a teaspoon, because I really like that. And it gives it, because we have quite a bit that we're going to be doing in here, although the tomatoes have a lot of liquid. But the reason that I'm doing this is because I really want my spices to bloom and to open up, and it smells wonderful. Now I'm going to add my garlic. That's going to go right in here to this beautiful mixture, like so. Very easy transaction. We are done with that. Let me get this out of the way so I don't break anything. Oh, and then I'm going to add my peppers, my wonderful red peppers. They're going to go right in there like so. I'm also going to go ahead and add now my onions. And I'm using a white onion. You could use a yellow onion, you can use a red onion, whatever onion you have. Don't stress about it. Whatever, because you know, cooking should be a lot of fun. It should not be any stress. And here we are. So now that I'm done with all of that, I still have my tomatoes, I still have my harissa, I still have my eggs, and I still have the rest of my wonderful spices, like my pepper flakes and my salt. And then whatever is left from my little plate, I'm going to be adding in there. Right now, what I really want to do, and I'm just using this little shifuli thing, I just want to get my peppers and my tomato, I mean not my tomatoes, my peppers and my onion and my garlic all hanging out in this beautifulness. Oh, I wish there was smell-o-phone or smell-o-vision. This is an incredible, delicious meal. You know, my father used to make this, but it was not called Shakshuka. And he did not use the same flavoring. He used a lot of garlic, olive oil, basilico, basil. Every country is different. Every country is different. So what happened is, in the 16th century, the tomatoes made their way to North Africa. And that's when this entire concoction of Shakshuka started. Now, Israel, I don't know when the tomatoes happened there. I don't know any of that. But I want to give homage or respect to all those beautiful nations that call this dish their own, because I don't know. And I'm not going to say, you know, I'm not going to get into a fight with you because food should be fun. And that's how it should be. So right now, as I am sauteing these beautiful things, now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and bring my wonderful, oh my goodness, harissa. And harissa is just so delicious. And also tomatoes. You know, a lot of people are afraid to use tomatoes. You know, tomatoes, they have like a bad rap on tomatoes. You know, did you know the tomatoes are loaded on vitamin C? They're loaded on vitamin C, loaded on vitamin K, guys. Tomatoes are so healthy. And also, they're good for diabetics. For diabetics, my husband is a diabetic. He's a type 2 diabetic. And tomatoes are full of antioxidants. Yes, full of antioxidants. They are, they're a good source of potassium, folic acid, my goodness, what else? And they're low on the glycemic index. Yes. So if you're looking for an alternative, I'm telling you, this is something that you may want to get into. So what I'm doing here is I want this to kind of hang out together. I'm going to wait for this. Now in the meantime, I'm just going to grab some parsley. How much parsley? I'm probably going to be, because what the parsley is going to be for the garnish. And the reason that I'm using some cilantro is because my friend's mother, she would use some cilantro. It's just like a little handful of cilantro. Let me move this out of the way. And that's what I have here. So I have some wonderful parsley and cilantro. Okay, so now that this is a quick meal, easy. Oh, the aromas. You guys, and now I am going to take my red pepper flakes and I'm just going to grab them and just kind of put them over here. I am using 2 teaspoons. I like my spicy, but you can use 1. So now I'm going to go like this with everybody. So I want to make sure I get everybody in here. If you use smoked paprika, it's going to give it such a wonderful little, like a little smoke. Because, you know, I'm using the fire-roasted tomatoes, and now I'm going to add my fire-roasted tomatoes right all in here, just like that, with my other fresh tomatoes. I always like to add a little freshness of the tomatoes. Maybe that's because, you know, my father, when he would do this, and it was not called Shakshuka, okay, because I don't know when the tomatoes ended up in Italy and all that other stuff, and I don't know. And I'm not going to get into all of that, but my father would do something like this, but not quite like this. He would use the tomatoes and the onions and the peppers. So now what I want to do with this is I just want this to kind of hang out here. I'm gonna have this to boil I mean, you know, to get it rocking and rolling. Let me get this over here so I can put that there. And then while this is doing its thing, because this is going to be really quick, guys, I am going to get my garnish. And the way that this dish is served in the skillet. And I am going to bring my phone to show you what it's going to look like. So again, you know, I don't know, all I know that in the 16th century, the tomatoes made their presence in North Africa. And that's how this meal became, and they call it Shakshuka because it means all mixed up. And actually it's all mixed up because you're mixing everything up. Oh, this is beautiful. It's such a colorful dish and it smells wonderful. And what happens is here is that everybody's marrying together. Everybody gets along together. Like we should all be getting along together. And what's going to start happening now is that all the juices are mixing with all of this. And now what I want to do here is I have a spoon. I want to taste this. Oh my gosh, I love this dish. I really love this dish. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue to chop my parsley with my cilantro. Now I like cilantro, so I am going to add more cilantro because I really do love cilantro. I know that there's a lot of you that don't care about cilantro, but I really love what cilantro does in this dish with the parsley. And you know, cilantro and parsley, they're loaded on antioxidants. And I bring you health, guys. I bring you, that's what I like to bring, is health to you. And again, this is a very easy dish. This is usually served at breakfast. It could also be served for lunch. And it can also be dinner. So now what I want to do is I'm going to take a nice little part of that and I'm just going to add that in here. And I'm going to use the rest for the garnish. Okay, so I'm just going to use that for the garnish. Just going to get my little knife in there like that. And then I'm just going to mix. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start making like little wells. Because I'm going to be adding my eggs. So what we do is we take the egg and we crack the egg. And we're going to put it and we're going to move it around, and we're going to be careful to get your shell and make sure that you don't break the egg. I'm going to make another well again. Get this over here. Oh, so I love it when you don't break the egg. My dad, man, he could do this and never break an egg. Me, sometimes I break the egg. Oh, and these are beautiful tomatoes. Those little chickens work really hard for these tomatoes, and I'm so grateful to them little chickens. And go visit your local farmers, guys, because your local farmers, they have these beautiful chickens, and you can have some beautiful organic tomatoes. And then what I want to do is I kind of use with my little shifuli, I'm just kind of want to move around the tomatoes to kind of, you know, for the liquid to start doing its thing, start doing the thing. So now what I want to do is I want to cover this up just like that. I'm going to clear the decks over here, and then I want to get a bowl like here, and I'm just going to get my wonderful parsley that I have right here. I'm going to turn my board over. I am going to grab a wonderful one of these guys, because I'm going to bring this right on here so I can show you what it looks like. It's beautiful. So what we're doing is we're covering it, because what we want to do is we want the eggs to start, you know, doing their thing, and you know, they start making this beautifulness on the outside. Oh, look at this. And you can see these little guys just peeking out, because you definitely want to cook all the whites of that tomato. So I'm just kind of moving this around, just kind of moving it around, you know, where the liquid is that makes the white. Let me bring you so I can show you what it looks like. All right, we're gonna go for a ride, guys. We're gonna go for a ride. And hopefully my phone is not gonna shut off on me. Do you see that? I hope you did. Let me gently bring you down. Okay. So as you can see, it needs to cook. And so all the whites, you know, they get all done. And it's, oh my goodness, it's looking fabulous. It's looking so beautiful. And then what I have done here, I'm going to cover this up. And let me show you how I'm going to serve it. I have made some homemade pitas. And these are my beautiful pitas. If you don't have homemade pitas, you can buy them. And then what I will do before as this is doing its thing, is I'm going to take my pita like so. Oh, such a beautiful pita. Oh, look at this, isn't that beautiful? And then what I want to do is I want to cut them to where, because what you want to do is you want to use the pita to soak everything up. So I'm going to have that like that. I'm going to take another pita. And I'm telling you, you know, you guys, making your own pita is not that hard. And I will do a segment on how to make one, but not today. So this is what I'm doing. And I have them on the side like that. I'm just going to put them right over here. I'm going to put this over here again. Clear my decks. Oh yeah, baby. Because this is almost done. Well, actually, it is done. It is beautiful. And let me show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, I'm going to bring you back up again so I can show you what you're looking at when it's done. You see that? Can you guys see that? I hope so. All right, I'm bringing you back again. You know, it's a one-woman show here. And thank you for your patience. So this is pretty much, it's finished. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it over here, and I'm just going to add my pitas right on there. Shut this off so it doesn't stop, you know, keep screaming at me. And I'm just going to put these guys around, because once we get off the air, guess what? We are going to munch. And this is with the wonderful pitas. And then what you want to do is you want to take this beautifulness and you just want to sprinkle that right on top. Just like that. Oh, I love this dish. It is so yummy and delicious. And it's still doing its thing. And I have a little bit over here. And I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to get in here. Mmm. Mmm. The flavors. The flavors, the aromas. It is such a beautiful dish. And you are going to be the king and the queen of your castles and having this beautiful shakshuka. And let me show this to you. I don't think I can pick it up. Look at that. You see how beautiful that is? I think you do. Okay, let me put these guys down some more so I can bring it to you. Let me show this to you. Look what you guys have made. This is a beautiful shakshuka. Look how lovely. I want to thank my wonderful sponsors, Dario Rodriguez with Life and Food Superstores. I want to thank Solangel with Cola Streets. I want to thank Stephen Bailey with Bailey in Charters. And I want to thank, oh my goodness, it's so delicious. My mouth is still so happy by eating this. I also want to thank Cola Harris with Pharmacy. And I want to thank you for joining me.